This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the never sound better," this is for you, Ted.
You know, these days, saying the wrong thing, or even cracking the wrong joke, can blow up faster than a viral Twitter thread. And that's exactly what Bill Maher has been talking about lately. Love him or hate him, he's built his whole career on calling out hypocrisy, especially the kind that hides behind hashtags and fake outrage. This time, he's turning his attention to the self-proclaimed moral police, Hollywood's woke elites, online mobs, and college students who treat being offended like it's a personality trait. Maher's had enough of the fake activism, the endless virtue signaling, and the never-ending cancel culture witch hunts. But instead of just ranting about it, he came up with an idea, an award show. Not for the usual crowd that gets Oscars for crying on cue or Golden Globes for pretending to care about climate change on the red carpet. No, this one's for the few who actually show real backbone. The people who don't delete their tweets, don't cave under pressure, and don't beg for forgiveness just to stay in the spotlight.
So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well, I gotta tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone, and in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm gonna do it right here, right now, and not only that, we're gonna do it every year.
Sounds wild, right? But think about it. Isn't that exactly what we're missing? Real courage, real guts. Not the kind that gets you applause at a Vanity Fair after-party, but the kind that earns actual respect. Take J.K. Rowling, for example. Here's a woman who created a global cultural phenomenon. She sold millions of books, built a billion-dollar empire, and inspired an entire generation to read. And yet somehow she's become public enemy number one for the woke mob. Why? Because she had the nerve to say that maybe, just maybe, being a woman is more than lipstick and pronouns. Shocking, right? Suddenly the same people who grew up idolizing Harry Potter turned on her overnight. Cancel her. Burn the books. Erase her from history. It's like living through a modern-day witch trial. Only now, the torches come in the form of hashtags and angry think pieces.
But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
And Rowling's not alone. Elon Musk used to be Silicon Valley's golden boy, the genius who'd save the planet with electric cars and rockets. But the moment he said something that didn't fit the progressive playbook, boom, overnight villain, same with Joe Rogan. He was the cool, edgy podcaster progressives loved until he asked the wrong questions. Then suddenly he's branded as some dangerous misinformation peddler. And of course, there's Maher himself, a liberal firebrand for decades, now considered problematic by the very people who used to cheer him on. See the pattern? It's about loyalty. You're safe as long as you conform, but the second you step out of line, you're done. That's the brutal truth of cancel culture. It doesn't care what you've achieved or who you've helped. Slip up once and they'll pretend you never existed. So Maher said, enough. He decided it was time to honor the people who actually show courage. And his first award went to Martha Pollack, president of Cornell University. If you've been paying attention, you know that many college campuses have basically turned into daycare centers for adults. Students want trigger warnings before lectures, as if college, the very place meant to challenge your thinking, has become too dangerous for ideas.
Our first award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up. And Martha said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't cave in. We'll hire a new dean of sensitivity. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas, not for kissing your and making you feel wonderful and always right.
Imagine that, paying $70,000 a year just to avoid discomfort. But Martha Pollack wasn't having it. When students at Cornell demanded trigger warnings for lectures, she stood firm and said no. No new dean of sensitivity. No safe spaces for every uncomfortable idea. Just plain no. She made it clear. College is for learning, not coddling. And honestly, that one word, no, showed more courage than half the so-called powerful speeches we've heard from Hollywood in the last decade.
You're thinking of brunch with your parents. I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating.
And Maher nailed it. If more universities showed that kind of backbone, we'd be raising strong, confident leaders, not fragile ideologues who crumble the second life gets tough. Think about it. This generation calls itself bold, free, and unapologetic. They'll post the wildest, most embarrassing stuff on TikTok just to get likes. But say something that doesn't fit their script? Boom. Outrage, tears, and instant calls for cancellation. How do you even make sense of that? Next up, Trader Joe's. And this one's honestly hilarious. For years, Trader Joe's has sold fun, quirky products with names like Trader Jose's for their beer. Nobody cared. Nobody was offended. Then one teenager on Twitter decided, hey, that's racist. Suddenly there's a petition. The mob is ready. Everyone expects Trader Joe's to cave, issue a long apology, rename everything to something bland like beverage from unspecified region.
Our next award goes to the place where many Cornell grads will be working next year, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products, trading on the name Joe. For example, they have Trader Jose's beer. So, of course, one teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist, and then there was a petition, and then Trader Joe's management did the right thing. They burnt down all their stores and killed themselves. No, they didn't. They said, F off, you oversensitive little sh**.
But Trader Joe's didn't play that game. They looked at the mob and said, no, these labels aren't racist and we're not changing them. We don't make decisions based on online petitions. Mic drop. And you know what happened? Nothing. Customers didn't stop shopping there. The brand didn't crash. The world didn't end. The mob screamed for about 48 hours. Then moved on to the next crisis.
A life and a sense of humor and released this statement. We disagree that any of these labels are racist, and we do not make decisions based on petitions. You see how easy it is? So to the home of the 19-cent banana, here, have some nuts.
And that right there is the big lesson. Cancel culture only has power if you hand it to them. If you stand your ground for just a couple of days, their outrage burns out, because they've already found the next person to be angry about. That's what Maher has been saying all along. Stop apologizing. Stop groveling. Stop letting people use fake outrage to control you, because here's the truth. The mob doesn't really want an apology. They want submission. And once you give in, they'll just keep demanding more. Maher didn't stop with universities and supermarkets, though. Next, he turned his sights on Hollywood itself. And let's be real, that's ground zero for virtue signaling. This is the same crowd that swore they'd leave America if Donald Trump became president. Remember that? Miley Cyrus, George Lopez, Eddie Griffin, all of them promising to pack up and go. 4 years of Trump came and went. And guess what? They're all still here, still sipping champagne in Beverly Hills, still walking red carpets, still cashing their checks. Not a moving truck in sight.
Just like there's a long list of liberal celebrities who swear they'll go if a Republican is elected, and no one ever does. Miley Cyrus once said, "I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean." Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan.
It's all just performance, empty words for clout. Hollywood loves to talk about courage, resistance, and moral integrity. But the second their career or paycheck is on the line, that so-called conviction disappears. These people aren't moral leaders. They're entertainers. Their moral compass points wherever the applause is loudest. And Maher made that crystal clear with a perfect example: comedy. Comedy has always been about pushing boundaries. It's meant to make you uncomfortable. That's the whole point. When it's done right, it exposes truth through laughter, even when that truth stings a little.
In 2016, Eddie Griffin said, "If Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa." Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez still here.
Look at comedians like Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan, even Rob Schneider. The moment they joked about the wrong topic, they were treated like criminals. But here's the thing. Comedy is one of the last spaces where truth still sneaks through. Behind almost every so-called offensive joke, there's usually a deeper truth that people are just too scared to say out loud. That's why Maher keeps defending it. Because if we lose that space, if comedians have to censor themselves out of fear, we lose one of the few honest mirrors society has left.
This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the never sound better," this is for you, Ted.
Maher also brought up Ben Stiller and his movie Tropic Thunder, a film that's been attacked by online critics for years. And what did Stiller do? He didn't back down. He said, "I make no apologies. I'm proud of it." That's it, and guess what? His career didn't end. He's still working, still in commercials, still respected, because here's the truth. The mob only seems powerful if you let them be. If you don't play their game, they lose their grip.
You know, when movie lovers get together these days, one phrase that comes up a lot and always makes me sad is, "Yeah, you couldn't make that one today." Top of that list is the great Tropic Thunder, which the scolds have been after for years. But in February, Ben Stiller tweeted, "I make no apologies for Tropic Thunder. It's always been a controversial movie since when we opened, proud of it and the work everyone did on it." See, people, it's not that hard. He said it, and he still got a commercial. And the lesson is, if you stand up to the mob for just a day or two, their shallow, impatient, immature, smartphone-driven, gerbil minds will forget about it and go on to the next nothing burger, and you still will have your cojones.
And that's Maher's ultimate point. Cancel culture is smoke and mirrors, a loud, angry storm that blows over in a day or two. If you stand firm, you'll be fine. But the moment you fold, apologize, or start begging forgiveness for something that doesn't even need one, that's when you lose. So when Maher roasted Hollywood, it wasn't just for laughs. It was a reality check. He was saying, stop treating celebrities like moral authorities. Stop giving cancel culture power. It doesn't really have... Look at Martha Pollock. Look at Trader Joe's. Look at Ben Stiller. They all stood their ground, and they're still standing. Resistance works. Courage pays off. What we need now more than ever are people who stop bowing down and start standing up. Because here's the truth. Defiance isn't dangerous. It's necessary. Without it, we lose comedy. We lose free thought. And we lose common sense. So what do you think? Is Maher right? That cancel culture only has as much power as we give it? Or do you think the mob really can destroy careers? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how you see it. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who still thinks Trader Joe's is racist for selling Trader Jose's. Because if there's one thing cancel culture truly hates, it's when people stop being afraid of it.